Hey, this is Christopher James with our friend Arturo.
That's me.
Here, and just chatting about some of the interviews we have coming up here in the next week. Let's see, I went down to Rock Bottom Studios down there.
It's very awesome down there.
Have you been there?
Yeah, I went to the opening.
Oh.
Very, very cool.
Now you're just showing off.
No, I really was. I was there at the opening.
You went at the opening?
Yeah.
Okay. I actually hadn't heard of it.
Jennifer and Olaf, they're really cool people.
Oh, well, now you know more than I do.
No,
already.
oh, come on.
Yeah.
They're like, Olaf is the manliest man. Yeah, if you want to learn man things, you just, I saw.
That's what I want to learn, too.
It's just,
studio.
one day he's like, oh, I need to make a garage. Or I need to make a basketball court.
Oh,
He just makes
actually,
it that day.
we talk about that in the podcast here today. We talk about it quite a bit because Jennifer tells the story of designing a stained glass window, and he literally learned how to make it.
Yes, he's
like
that kind
weekend.
of guy. And, but they're the awesome like power couple I've met. They just kind of feed
And
each
they're
other.
really, really nice, and they really want to do stuff for the community. They're starting the art festival, which is the topic that we'll be talking about in the interview.
Fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it can be a big deal, actually, for Branson, and completely change the independent art festival sort of thing,
Especially
or
around
film
here.
festival in the state.
It's very strange people around here, so I want to see what people think and make. Because
Yeah, but I think they have entries from all around the country.
oh, that's
what she said.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So, yeah, the conversation is pretty amazing. And not just that, not just for the film festival. If you can't make it next weekend, it's on Sunday next weekend. At least go down and check out the art studio because the paintings and stuff are amazing in there. We're really lucky to have a couple that dedicated to bring their art back from San Diego, which is where they were, to bring it back to Branson and to care enough about the community.
It's very, very neat. They're the nicest couple ever.
They are.
Just really cool.
So, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy our interview with Rock Bottom Studios here in Branson. Have fun. Hello, welcome to Branson Weekly. I am here at Rock Bottom Studios with Jennifer Pearson.
Hi.
Hi there, very good to see you. And you guys have a film festival coming up this weekend, or this weekend or next weekend?
The entries are actually due this weekend, Saturday at midnight. We will receive all of our submissions, and then we have a week of judging, and we will present the public with a viewing in the community at Rock Bottom Studios Sunday the 21st at 2 p.m.
Okay, so the submissions have to be in on the 13th,
Yes.
just so everybody knows.
Yes, Saturday night.
Saturday night on the 13th, they have to have the submissions in. And what exactly is it? I mean, explain what the whole film festival is. We have one of the flyers here. But.
Yeah, we have a flyer. We just wanted to showcase. We are traditionally a functional art gallery. My husband Olaf and I do a lot of different kinds of projects art-wise, and are busy all the time, but we want to create events every 3-4 months that showcase a particular art. And film has always been an interest. It's a very accessible media with all that's available to people from all over the world to enter. We just thought it would be fun to showcase some local talent and then reach out beyond that to other places in the States as well as abroad if we could get that lucky this year. But just to showcase film as a medium of art.
Now that's changed a lot with YouTube and Vimeo. And
it's very accessible.
Vine and all that
yes,
stuff.
and we wanted to make it, this being our first year, we are actually have only been open about 6 months, and this will be our third event. We wanted to have something that we could have all ages participate in as either a filmmaker or as someone who attends it. Someone who comes in. So filmmaker or actor, we wanted to have a huge genre of people that could participate in it and showcase it.
Now, are you going to have different categories of film there, or is it just overall film festival?
It's an overall film festival. This is our first year.
So you're not going to have like romance?
No, not. We were just going to put it on the map this year, and we're hoping to make it an annual event so that it's something that we expect will grow and evolve over the years. So we may go to categories depending on what we get this year, but we just wanted it to sort of see what people were interested in or what kind of people were interested in participating in
Right.
it. So, and then we'll separate it out next year maybe, or in years.
When it becomes so huge.
Yeah.
Now, where will you be showing them? Where exactly will the...
Right here in the studio.
Right here?
Yes. We have one of our judges and our keynote speaker for the night, Chris Canote, will be providing some technology for the showcase. He's bringing a projector, and we will do a large screen and production right here in the studio next Sunday afternoon.
Concession stands, the whole
deal? Yes, and it will be free, and we don't intend to make a profit off of it. Our entry fees go into the prizes for our winners, but the party is for everyone to come.
Oh, it's a party.
Yeah. The refreshments and everything for all ages.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about, you said about the entry fee and stuff, so what exactly, it's like a $20 entry fee, I think?
$20, and then our prizes will be a $100 grand prize to whoever the panel picks to be the best. And then we will do a People's Choice Award that night for $50. And so those fees kind of go into that, as well as the popcorn or whatever we end up with our party.
Do you have a lot of films submitted so far? I mean, it's only a few more days, right?
It's only a few more days, and I have about 10, and I'm expecting maybe 15. I'm getting a lot of people calling me here at the last minute. Oh, I already had something I was working on, and I can beef it up for the weekend.
Right. Are there any limits as to the length or anything like that?
We are just doing 5 minutes. Again, that may be something we do differently in the future, but we weren't really sure if people would turn in 3-hour films, and then you end up with
several days,
and we weren't quite ready for that in our newness. But 5 minutes, and then we are allowing any age to participate. So anybody who has access and is willing to submit it to Vimeo or YouTube is able to do it. A 5-year-old or 90-year-old.
5 minutes.
I don't want to limit anybody there age-wise. But.
I've been to the big not independent movies, but the big movies and the credits. I mean, the welcome screen is like 10 minutes long.
Yes, we thought within 5 minutes there could be a good sample of whatever the filmmaker or actors and actresses wanted to present. Sure. And it can go any genre. We did ask for a limit of PG-13 specifically.
So it has to be above PG-13.
Because we want, my husband and I, we have 3 kids, and they're young, and we'd like the community to feel comfortable here with their families, and that's what it's been all about at our events. We like it to have any age welcome and running around here enjoying the arts.
Yeah. Well, you said you have 3 kids. You live in Branson now. Yeah.
We live in Kimberling, Kimberling City for a couple of weeks more, and then we've sold our house, so we'll be moving over closer to the studio actually. And
you were telling me that you actually worked at C of O.
Yes. I was a graduate from College of the Ozarks in 1994, and then I went, and that was in drawing and painting, and then my major was in graphic design. I'll come back to the drawing and painting part of it, but at the time there wasn't a lot available as far as technology in 1994, so a lot of my graphic work was by hand. And we had a couple of computers and a scanner and an opaque projector and some of that older equipment.
No, I know what you're talking about, because I actually wanted to go to college at the Pittsburgh Art Institute for graphic design. That's what I was going to do. And I remember this was around the same time, and I remember using overhead projectors and just the basic. Oh, it'd be so much easier now.
Oh yeah. The competition would be wild too, because everybody's very excited. It's a
and
very
everyone
big,
thinks they're
thing.
a graphic artist, to tell you the truth.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's a few websites out that I actually have used, gone on Fiverr and some of these others, and you can go on and say, I have a project. I need a logo designed or something, and you'll get 100 people that will submit to you.
Yes.
I'll do it for $20, or I'll do it. The competition is outrageous, especially overseas, because that's where I get them all from. It seems like there's a lot of people in India, the Philippines that want to draw.
It's really pretty fascinating. It's interesting that it's grown so fast and broad.
Yeah. Well, the neat thing about that aspect is that with a project like that, like a cartoon design or something, I can hire like 10 people to do 10 different styles and then pick the one that you want after that, because there's just so much access to it now. But back in 94, like, I don't even remember doing anything on a computer back then.
Well, I was very clunky, and the keys were clunky, pushing, what you wanted to have happen. And it was exciting and for the time. But nowadays it's dinosaur. It's a dinosaur thing.
Back then, using Paint. Remember using the Paint programs and all that?
Yes, Koala Pad. I mean, my first computer was a Commodore 64.
Oh, mine was too. No, I take it back. Mine was a VIC-20. Remember that?
No.
It was the one before the 64, 20-bit. And then, the Commodore 64. And then when the 128 came out, I was so jealous. I could not.
It already had advanced.
Can you imagine? We didn't even have disk drives. Like when I had the 64. No. I would pay my sister to sit and type in the code so I could play a game that night. And you can't mess up with one semicolon. No, you'd have to go through and spend 2 days, or the power would go out and you would lose everything.
Yes.
But the Commodore 64. Back in. Did you have that at the College of the Ozarks?
No, I don't remember what we had, but it was actually the foresight of my ceramics teacher to start the graphic design program, Jeff Johnston, and he's the one who's like, graphic design, we've got to get technology in here, we've got to get these kids learning it. And he's the ceramics teacher, but he knew the importance of it back then, and so he started the program essentially there, and it's really grown. By the time I taught there, I think we had replaced all the looms with
looms?
It was in the old weaving studio, and they had replaced all the looms with G5s, and we had a pretty good program going. And then that's when I actually taught there. So after I'm kind of like skipping ahead and kind of hit and miss a few things, but after College of the Ozarks in graphic design, I went and picked up masters in painting and drawing. The drawing was first at Central Missouri State University, which has changed names now. Then I went on to Fort Hays State in Kansas and picked up a master's in painting. And then came back for 1 year and taught at College of the Ozarks, and that's when I've met a lot of the local talent here as well, being a teacher. And then my husband and I went to California to the West Coast, way south, down by San Diego, and I taught a little bit out there as a college teacher. Very different scene out there. We had started our family. My oldest turned 13 yesterday, so we've been out of the area, back and forth, kind of in the Midwest and the West Coast a few different times. We're trying to decide where to raise our kids and be sure that they had a lot of fun traveling at the same time. Yeah, that's important. Mostly been in the Ozarks. My last master's degree, because I did go back again to school, I loved it. It is in teaching, and I went and taught after about a dozen years teaching college. I went back and taught middle school art for 1 year, and was then put in the high school position and taught at Fairgrove High School. Looms. You didn't have to worry about the looms. I have a loom, but I taught them. I did teach them some weaving projects. Okay, so maybe I don't need to go off on a tangent there, but well, when you teach high school art in a small rural community, and you enter competitions, you want a large variety of things. And our weaving was actually with recycled materials. I had a lot of fun teaching that age group. And the art is an elective, but you get a lot of kids in there that maybe don't have any interest in art or didn't know they had any talent. So it's really kind of fun to explore all the different avenues, including graphic design and how is the art program in the school around here? I mean, is it pretty comprehensive, or is there just an art class? Because when I was in high school, we had graphic arts, we had abstract. Like, you could pick the classes you wanted. Well, it depends on where you go to school. In Fairgrove, there is art class. And I was the one high school art teacher, and so I kind of separated that out into a two-dimensional class and a three-dimensional class, and then ceramics included in the 3D. But I had to kind of create that program, or I got to create that program. It was very exciting to try to cover as much as you could,
Right.
and that some kids you only had a semester, so you're trying to teach them the world of art, a history of
Right.
art, the future
In a
of
few
art
months.
in a few months, and give them a good experience. It's fun, and it was very nice, very fulfilling for me. That was my hometown. I went kindergarten through 12th grade in Fairgrove, so it was very exciting to come back. I had replaced the teacher who
Yeah.
I had. And have that position. It was exciting. The reason we left, we sold a house and we wanted to live in the lake area. So
Right. But the art around here compared to San Diego area,
Oh, you
like what would you say is the biggest difference in the style or subject matter?
very little censorship out there, but I wasn't teaching public school art. I taught in a community college, so there was really no censorship. Very figure drawing. I wasn't teaching kindergarten through 12th. I was teaching college classes, so there was figure drawing, and there was just a little more attempts to shock people back then. But I don't know if that's so true, because I had high school kids that were wanting to shock people with their art too. It's just a little different in that sense, is maybe censorship and exposure.
Any difference with like the mediums that they use or anything? I mean, more acrylic type painting here versus sculpture, and nothing like that? Or?
Well, the only thing I could really say officially is a comparison of Fairgrove High School to maybe a Southern California high school. There might be more teachers and more areas of specializing in like photography. They might have a full blown like photography studio and computer lab and things like that, which Fairgrove has, but it's not all wrapped up into one art department. It's kind of like you have your teacher over here that's digital media and things like that.
I would love to have digital media back.
I know. Actually, I believe we have an entry coming from Fairgrove, but I'm not the teacher there anymore. It's a student there. I have somebody entering from Kansas City, someone from Connecticut, someone from California. I have a former college student that is, if he gets it finished, he's going to the Kansas City Art Institute. It's his senior year, and he wants to submit something. He called me yesterday, so we'll see.
Oh, well, that's good.
It could be 10. We could have maybe 100
well,
entries.
That's what I think would be interesting about this, is to have something in Branson that brings in art from outside the area.
Yes.
And gives the people around here more of a cultural exposure to other things, to other styles, to other artists. Basically.
Yes, and they are, the pieces we have received so far are very, very different in nature. It will be a difficult show to judge because we don't have a set theme and a lot of specific, it has to have this in it, this in it, this in it. It's kind of a grab bag, so to speak, of
potpourri
of pieces that we will have here, and that will help define next year's if we need to break it up into categories, based on age or equipment, or it's just a very broad range.
Hopefully it becomes really big. You can be
I think so.
like the Sundance Film Festival of the Ozarks.
Why not? I would be very proud of you. I am proud of it, but it would be exciting to see it grow. I can only see it getting bigger and better each year.
The big thing is to get the community support, get people to come out and actually attend.
Yes.
And December 21st, you can come out and do that. But right now, you can come down to your studio, and now I see all kinds of art that you have in here. A lot of nature out here, and I see your husband's art up here.
Yes.
Is that kind of what he specializes in? Is nature paintings?
Mine are probably more along the lines of nature. I include a lot of fish and birds. It's a big part of my life and symbolism. I'm very much a nature outdoors person, and he is as well. His work varies, and he's much more industrial and engineering minded. He is a licensed general contractor and works in every aspect of the field. It is truly. He can problem solve many different things, and his art ranges from the surfboards that you see hanging from the ceiling to paintings, ceramics, sculpture, architectural design. I don't know if you know the large stained glass window in St. John's Patient Towers, but it's a 15-foot stained glass window, and I was initially the one I designed and commissioned to do that piece, and I did the drawing for it, but I was 9 months pregnant by the time they needed it. And they said, well, we'd like to have it in about 6 weeks for our grand opening, which is the Patient Towers on Cherokee. And I told Olaf, we can either pass it along to someone else, or you can do it.
Right.
But you can't really be a 16th of an inch off, and he's a precisionist, so he actually learned to cut glass in about 30 minutes and produced a 15-foot stained glass window in our garage, which he also built, and installed it himself. And,
wow!
It's a very big project. So he could do anything. And public art, I really see us going a lot of different directions now that we have a location to work and a base to be in, and we're very evolutionary stages right now. Being 6 months open, we've had three events. This will be our third event.
Oh, what were the other 2 events that you had?
We had our grand opening, and surprisingly, it could have been 10 people here. It could have been 200. We ended up with about 200 throughout the evening, which is really big
for a grand opening.
Just advertising on Facebook for the most part, and then by word of mouth. We had a lot of local sponsors, which is it's a neat thing because I don't want to exhaust our sponsors, but we have a lot of people locally and afar that want to support what we're doing here. We're not out to make a huge profit. I mean, it's nice when you sell artwork, but what we really would, initially want to just have a space that people can come and enjoy some artwork and watch what different possibilities are with art. And we've done we've done workshops in here and had we did the summer thing where tourists are coming in and out. It's kind of dwindled a little bit with that, but we've stayed busy since then. I forget which question I'm answering now. I've gone a lot of different directions.
Just about your husband's background.
Okay. And he can custom remodel things. Like, we've flipped quite a few houses and built from scratch.
Now they'll all have stained glass windows in them.
We have a hand in a lot of taking a trashed or condemned type space and turning it into something functional and beautiful and useful.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
No, it really is. So growing up, getting into graphic arts real quick, because it's kind of a thing with me. Who were your biggest influences?
Probably my ceramics teacher. Because I didn't really have much to go off of. I was kind of a small town kid, and I went to College of the Ozarks. They sent me on an exchange to Holland for 6 months. It kind of opened my mind up to other cultures and other people I met in Holland. I went back and had actually a painting exhibition there. I don't even remember what year, in the 90s. But I don't know. I suppose the world is my biggest influence in how rapidly it's changing. I honestly don't do much graphic design computer work.
Right.
I am doing a ton of work right now for my sister-in-law. She's working with an organic farm in California, and I do a lot of their commercial design. I don't do the computer aspect of it. I do a lot of commercial illustration. And then her company also, Journeys, also does an online, she's working on a website, and I do a lot of her illustration and artwork for that, as well as a cookbook she'd like to put out. But she should really be here talking about all of those projects. But and then another friend of mine from Springfield, I work out of his company. That's kind of where I've kind of pushed it a little further from computers, because that is not my area of expertise. No, and it changes so quickly. You have to really be passionate about it to stay up with it. And mine is more hands-on, making a mess. I love painting. I'm in here painting. And
actually painting instead of laying it out in Photoshop.
Throwing it all out there. And we work large scale, small scale. I've done a lot. My smaller pieces are all in my husband's lumber scraps from jobs. He's constantly, I think one of his last jobs was a custom furniture piece that he did a whole office, and there are a lot of really nice little wood scraps that I use.
You keep going back to the recycling and the
It's a
loom
big
situation
part.
back there.
Well,
that was a big influence on you.
It was. It
Recycling
was.
for the
I
loom.
actually didn't grow up very wealthy at all. My mom stayed home, and my dad worked as a trucker for a propane company, and they didn't make much money. He had a little hobby shop that he tried to run himself, and it was along these lines, but they had more kits and models and things like that, and in Fairgrove. And he ended up having to go to work because we had 3 kids and Mom staying home. So I grew up kind of being frugal, and Mom was a Cub Scout leader, and she started little reading programs. She actually did this is funny to bring up. She got a bunch of movie seats and with the Historical Society possibly, and maybe some friends locally, created a film. Once a week she rented the old black and white projectors and showed Laurel and Hardy's, and
that was awesome.
it was awesome, and it was free. There was popcorn, there was movie seats, and that was in Fairgrove. That would have been in the 70s,
I would love
believe.
to do that now. I think that would be a fantastic thing to have
Absolutely.
around here.
It would, and there's some really, every day that I sit in here or I'm out in the streets and we talk about the studio, there's a lot of people interested in these kinds of things, and they kind of come to our events, or they find us by word of mouth. Or
That would be an excellent project for you.
honestly, I don't want to spill the beans about anybody's ideas, but I know that the coffee shop in the downtown Hollister part, the young couple that runs Vintage Paris, wonderful old couple. They have really exciting ideas too with the community, and that has come up in our conversation before film. And it's
One of
really
my
fun.
best experiences seeing a movie was just a few years ago. My wife's from Columbia, Missouri, and we were there, and near the college, we found this tiny little independent theater that was showing The Artist when it came out. And you went in, and basically it was collections of couches and recliners, and they came around and they just brought you the refreshments and stuff like in a little tray, and you just sat there in your recliner, and we watched that movie, The Artist, the silent movie, on a big old screen. And before the movie, they came out, some of the film students, and talked about it, and talked about who had produced it, and some history, and then afterwards they had like a forum, like a question and answer type of thing.
Love it.
And it was fantastic. We kept saying we would love to do something like that.
Well, that's what this essentially will be, and it may be a little clunky because it's our first year. I don't consider myself a good public speaker, but people, they'll gravitate toward the situation and help me out. But I see it being something along those lines, and we're planning an annual situation, but we'll just play it by ear and see.
I hope it's really successful.
Yeah,
I think
thank
it
you.
will be. So let's just review the facts real quick here. So submissions have to be in this Saturday, the 13th.
The
right? Is it
13th, yes, by midnight.
By midnight on the 13th, and you're right across, just so local people will know, right across from Mr. G's.
Yes.
Near the Regions Bank by the landing there. And you can come in, and let's see, 2 o'clock on the 21st is the actual film festival.
Yes. And we will announce the winners at that time. I meant to mention Chris Canote as being a key speaker.
Yeah, you said he's doing all of the equipment and everything.
Yes, he's doing equipment, and he will be speaking about what he does with personal interest in film as well as his profession, and we're very excited about having him and his wife join us as
So will that
judges.
be at 2 as well?
The
Everything starts at 2.
the judging will be throughout the week at their leisure. They
I
can
see.
view it many times, view what we've got. But we will show them all publicly, and then toward the end of that, we will have a showcase of Chris and his work at Canote Films and their exciting projects that they've got going on. And we've got some prizes to give out. The Branson Meadows Cinema and IMAX has donated some tickets to some of our winners. And then I'm working on some other sponsors, Moxie in Springfield, who I've worked with since their inaugural opening. Olaf and I were artists in their shop. It's new ownership, but same great vision. But Moxie Cinema, we'd like to kind of partner with some of our local film people. So we'll be offering some prizes that night to our winners. So.
Oh, great. You said $100 top prize for the
Grand prize for $100. We would like to do a People's Choice that night, so anybody who comes that wants to just vote on their favorite piece of the evening, we'll count up ballots at the end and give that winner $50 and some notoriety as well.
And it's a great time to see your studio as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we'll have probably change a little bit of the art, too, by the time that rolls around, but that's in a couple
Get some
weeks.
stained glass in here.
Oh, we'll see. Yeah, he can pull it together fast.
Yeah, really. Didn't have a choice last time,
No.
apparently.
No.
All right, so the 21st, 2 p.m., come down, free event right across from Mr. G's at Rock Bottom Studios here. Come down and visit with Jennifer and Olaf and check out their art, see the film festival, get in on the People's Choice Award there, and support local art. And hopefully we can make this a yearly event here in Branson. So thanks so much
Thanks,
for
Chris.
talking, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.